Within the next minutes, you will discover that being a deep thinker isn't a personality trait. It's a neurological condition, a form of high-stakes psychological processing that borders on a superpower and a curse. And if you've ever felt isolated by the sheer volume of your own thoughts, like a ghost at the feast of normal life, what you're about to hear will not only explain your entire existence, but will reveal the hidden trauma that likely forged your mind in the first place. Imagine a child. Let's call him Leo. He's 7 years old. At a family gathering, he's sitting in the corner, not playing with the other kids. He's watching his grandfather, a man he adores, laugh with his uncles. But Leo isn't just seeing laughter. He's watching the way his grandfather's eyes crinkle, but how the smile doesn't quite seem to reach them. He's noticing a slight hesitation before the laugh, a tiny, almost imperceptible sigh that follows it. In his 7-year-old mind, a connection forms, a silent, terrifying equation. Joy and sadness are not opposites. They are roommates, living in the same house. This is the birth of a deep thinker. It's not chosen, it's perceived. It's a forced awakening to the layers of reality that most people filter out. Leo wasn't a sad child, he was an observant one. He was building a map of human emotion before he even had the words to describe it. This is your origin story, isn't it? That relentless, involuntary noticing. Psychologically, this isn't just being smart. This is a condition of high sensory processing sensitivity, often linked to a genetic trait known as the D4DR gene, which literally dictates how deeply you process stimuli. Your brain isn't just receiving information, it's fermenting it, analyzing it, connecting it to 1,000 other data points. It has a more active default mode network, the brain's background rhythm that activates when you're not focused on the outside world. This is your brain's idle. But for you, idle isn't a restful state. It's a roaring factory of thought, memory, and simulation. While others' minds are quiet ponds, yours is the Mariana Trench, dark, immense, and under immense pressure. This is the proof. This is the biological bedrock of your experience. It's not all in your head, it's in your very wiring. This depth creates a unique and often painful paradox, the paradox of connection. You crave it more than anything, a connection that is real, raw, and substantive. Small talk feels like psychological torture, a series of empty codes being exchanged while you're screaming to discuss the architecture of the soul. So you stay silent, you observe, you become a collector of subtleties. You can walk into a room and feel the tension between two people who are both smiling. You can hear the slight tremor in a friend's voice that signals a hidden despair. You are a detective in a world that doesn't know it's a crime scene. But this variability that makes you crave deep connection is the same thing that makes it so hard to find. You are speaking a language of nuance in a world that communicates in headlines. The benefit, however, is cataclysmic when you find it. When a deep thinker finds another person who understands this language, the connection is not just social, it's existential. It's a homecoming. But let's talk about the darkness that often forges this mind. This is where we enter the realm of trauma. For many deep thinkers, this intensity wasn't a random gift, it was a necessary armor. Consider a psychological case study known as the Watcher Child. In families with dysfunction, perhaps an alcoholic parent or constant unspoken conflict, one child often takes on the role of the family's emotional seismograph. This child learns out of sheer survival to predict moods, to read micro-expressions, to anticipate conflict before it erupts. Their depth becomes a defense mechanism. They are constantly running simulations in their head. If I say this, then he will do that. If I stay quiet, maybe she will calm down. This hypervigilance wires the brain for depth. It's a brilliant adaptation to a chaotic environment, but it becomes a lifelong habit. You learn to navigate the minefields of your childhood, and now you see mines everywhere, even on a peaceful grassy plain. Your deep thinking is a form of post-traumatic brilliance. It was the one thing that gave you a semblance of control in a world that felt unsafe. This leads to the deep thinker's most exhausting habit, rumination. People will call it overthinking. They'll tell you to just stop thinking about it. What they don't understand is that for you, thinking is doing. It's a form of problem solving. Your mind is trying to achieve closure, to solve the unsolvable equation of a past hurt or a future fear. A simple misunderstanding with a coworker becomes a 3-act psychological play in your mind. You replay the scene, you analyze every word, every intonation, every possible meaning. You're not just being anxious, you're conducting a forensic analysis of human interaction. Research from Yale University shows that rumination is linked to increased activity between the prefrontal cortex, your analytical engine, and the limbic system, your emotional center. For you, emotion and analysis are fused. You feel your thoughts and you think your feelings. This is why you can't just let it go. Letting it go feels like abandoning a crime scene before you found the clue that explains everything. And here is one of the cruelest psychological traps for the deep thinker, the illusion of transparency. You assume that because you are so aware of your own internal states, your doubts, your nuances, your complex intentions, that others must be just as aware. You believe your internal turmoil is visible on your face. You think your subtle hints are as clear as a shout. So when people fail to understand you, it doesn't feel like a simple miscommunication. It feels like a profound personal failure or a deliberate act of ignorance. You think, how could they not see? It's so obvious. But it's not obvious to them. Their brains are not wired to see the 50 shades of gray you are painting with. This disconnect is a primary source of your loneliness and frustration. You are broadcasting on a frequency that most people simply don't have the receiver for.
Yet within this struggle lies an incredible power. This same depth that makes you prone to rumination is also the source of your unparalleled creativity and empathy. When you think about a problem, you don't just see the problem. You see its history, its ecosystem, its emotional resonance. You are a master of synthesis. The story of Sir Isaac Newton developing the theory of gravity while in isolation during the Great Plague is not just a story about an apple. It's the story of a deep thinker removed from the noise of the world whose mind was free to make connections between the fall of an apple and the motion of celestial bodies. His depth was his superpower. Your mind, in its relentless quest for patterns, is capable of the same kind of revolutionary connections, not just in science, but in understanding people, in creating art, in solving human problems. Your curse is the raw material for your genius. But you cannot live in the depths forever. The pressure will crush you. The deep thinker must learn the art of surfacing, of finding an anchor in the tangible world. This is not about dumbing yourself down. This is about integration. It's about learning to use your depth as a tool, not allowing it to use you as a host. The first step is to recognize that your mind is not a problem to be solved, but an instrument to be mastered. It needs an outlet. For some, it's journaling, transforming the swirling storm of thoughts into structured words on a page. For others, it's physical creation, building, painting, coding, something that forces the abstract to become concrete. Your mind is a river. Without a channel, it will flood. But with a channel, it can generate immense power. You have spent your life feeling like an outsider, a ghost in the machine of society. You've been told you're too much, too intense, too sensitive. What if that very sensitivity is the key to not just understanding the world, but to reshaping it? What if the pain you carry is not a burden, but a data set of unparalleled value? You are not broken. You are a specialized piece of psychological hardware in a world running on basic software. And this is where our journey takes a darker, more profound turn. Now we will dissect the specific trauma responses that hardwired your brain for depth. We will explore the concept of the Cassandra complex, the agony of seeing the truth clearly and never being believed. And most importantly, we will unveil the step-by-step process to transmute your analytical pain into unshakable power, to turn the very thing that has isolated you into your greatest strategic advantage. The world needs deep thinkers to see the paths that others cannot. It's time you learned how to lead the way.
We've laid the foundation, understanding that the deep thinker's mind is a landscape shaped by perception, biology, and often trauma. But knowing you're a specialized piece of hardware is only the first step. The real work, the transformation, begins when you stop fighting your own nature and start decoding its origin. The deepest thinkers are not just born, they are forged in the fires of experience. Their profound sensitivity is often a scar tissue that has become a sensory organ. To truly master this mind, we must be willing to walk back into that fire and understand what was cast in the flames. This is where we move from understanding to empowerment, from being a victim of your depth to becoming its architect. Let's talk about the Cassandra complex. In Greek mythology, Cassandra was a princess granted the gift of prophecy by the god Apollo. But when she spurned his advances, he cursed her so that no one would ever believe her accurate predictions. She could see the future with terrifying clarity, the fall of Troy, the death of heroes, but her warnings were met with dismissal and ridicule. She was the ultimate deep thinker, trapped in the agony of perfect foresight paired with total powerlessness. If you have ever seen the inevitable outcome of a bad relationship, a failing business, or a social crisis, and tried to warn those around you, only to be labeled negative, pessimistic, or paranoid, you have lived the Cassandra complex. It's not that you're predicting the future, you're simply connecting data points that others ignore. You see the trajectory. The curse is not your vision. It's the profound isolation that comes when your reality is systematically invalidated by the very people you're trying to help. This repeated invalidation is a specific form of psychological trauma that teaches you to distrust your own perception, the very tool you rely on most. This complex often finds its roots in childhood, in the role you were forced to play. Recall the concept of the watcher child. This wasn't just about being quiet. This was a survival assignment. Imagine a young girl whose parents are constantly on the verge of conflict. The air in the house is thick with unspoken anger. She learns that the explicit words spoken are meaningless. The real information is in the subtleties. The slamming of a cabinet door is a thunderclap. The silence after a certain question is a void of dread. Her brain becomes a supercomputer running constant probability scenarios. She develops what psychologists call a heightened theory of mind, an intense, almost exhausting ability to infer the mental states, beliefs, and intentions of others. This is where your empathy became a strategic tool. You weren't just feeling for others, you were reading them to navigate your own environment safely. The benefit was survival. The cost was a nervous system permanently set to high alert and a psyche that learned its value was in solving other people's unspoken problems.
This wiring leads directly to the deep thinker's most toxic relationship pattern, the desire to fix and solve. You are drawn to broken people, not out of weakness, but out of a conditioned sense of purpose. Your analytical mind sees their trauma as a complex, fascinating puzzle. You believe that if you can just be perceptive enough, patient enough, and loving enough, you can provide the missing piece that will heal them. You are the psychological detective trying to solve the cold case of their soul.
But this is a seductive trap. You are using your greatest gift, your depth, in a game you can never win. You cannot love someone out of their own unhealed trauma. A powerful case study in psychology is the concept of counter-dependent relationships, where one person, often the deep thinker, becomes the over-functioning therapist partner, while the other remains stuck in their patterns. The deep thinker burns their energy trying to decipher and mend, mistaking this exhausting labor for intimacy. The real connection never forms because it's based on a dynamic of healer and patient, not two whole individuals. The moment you stop healing them, the relationship often collapses because that was the unspoken contract you never agreed to, but signed with your empathy. And what happens when these patterns, these Cassandra warnings and fix-it projects, inevitably lead to pain? Your mind, your beautiful, intricate machine, does what it does best. It turns inward. This is where deep thinking can curdle into self-annihilation. You don't just feel sadness, you deconstruct it. You don't just experience heartbreak, you perform an autopsy on it. Every failure becomes a data point in a grand, damning theory about your own inherent flaws. This is the shadow of metacognition, the ability to think about your own thinking. It's like a mirror reflecting a mirror into infinity, and you are lost in the corridor of your own perceived inadequacies. Studies on rumination show it actively suppresses the brain's ability to problem-solve creatively. It's a cognitive loop that feels like work, but is actually a form of self-hypnosis, reinforcing a negative self-concept. You're using your most powerful weapon against yourself. This is the darkest hour of the deep thinker, when the mind that sees everything becomes a prison warden, and the only prisoner is you. But this is also the turning point, because the very skill that built the prison holds the key. Your analytical power is neutral. You have simply been pointing it in the wrong direction. The escape begins not with positive thinking, but with strategic thinking. The first step is to externalize the process. Your thoughts are not you, they are data. Your feelings are not commands, they are information. Start treating your mind like the sophisticated data center it is. When a wave of rumination about a past mistake hits, you don't drown in it. You become the scientist observing the storm. You label it. This is the Past Failure Analysis 3.1 program running again. This creates psychological distance. It depersonalizes the chaos. You are not a bad person. You are a system running a subroutine that is no longer useful. This is the core of acceptance and commitment therapy, making room for difficult thoughts without being ruled by them. You acknowledge the thought, you thank your mind for its misguided attempt to protect you, and you consciously choose a different action.
The second step is to channel the torrent. Your mind needs a project, a creative outlet that is worthy of its power. A mind this active cannot be simply emptied through meditation. It must be focused with intention. This is where you move from passive thinking to active creation. The deep thinker's brain is not a pond to be stilled, it is a river to be harnessed. Find a complex problem to solve, learn a difficult language, write that novel, build a business, master a craft. The psychological concept of flow state, that zone of complete immersion where time falls away, is the deep thinker's natural habitat. It is the antidote to rumination. In flow, your analytical and emotional faculties are finally aligned toward a single, tangible purpose. The noise stops because all processing power is directed outward into creation. This is how you turn your curse into your craft. The pain you've analyzed so deeply becomes the raw material for your art. The patterns you've observed in human behavior become the insight in your leadership.
Your sensitivity is no longer a wound, it is your competitive advantage. Finally, you must rebuild your social world with intention, not desperation. Stop trying to convert shallow waters into deep seas. Your value does not decrease because someone cannot meet your depth. You must become a curator of your own relationships. Seek out the other watchers, the other Cassandras. They are there in the corners of rooms with the same quiet intensity in their eyes. The connection you will find there is not based on fixing or performing. It is based on a shared, unspoken understanding. It is a mutual recognition of depth. In these relationships, you don't have to explain your silences. They are respected. You don't have to justify your intensity. It is reflected. This is how you break the Cassandra curse. You don't need the whole world to believe you. You just need to find your small tribe that already sees what you see. You have spent a lifetime carrying the weight of a world you perceive too clearly. You have been the ghost, the watcher, the prophet no one believed. It is time to lay down those burdens. Your depth is not a liability to be managed. It is a lens through which a truer reality is revealed. The world of the shallow is loud and fast and bright, but it is the world of the deep that holds the secrets, the patterns, the truths that endure. Your mind is not a prison, it is a command center. You are not meant to swim in the shallows with everyone else. You were built for the depths. And it is in the silent, pressurized darkness of the deep that the most valuable treasures are always found. Stop trying to come up for air. Learn to breathe underwater.